BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
Tanzanian officials are intensifying their efforts to apprehend opposition figures following a wave of deadly protests that erupted during last week's general election. Authorities have issued arrest warrants for approximately 10 individuals, including prominent leaders of the main opposition party, Chadema. These figures are being held responsible by the government for orchestrating the violent demonstrations that marred the electoral process, according to claims made by the Chadema Party and various human rights organizations. Security forces are said to have been responsible for the deaths of over 1,000 people during these protests. While the Tanzanian government has dismissed these casualty figures as exaggerated, it has yet to provide its own official death toll. The incumbent president, Samia Suluhu Hassan, was declared the victor of the election, securing an overwhelming 98% of the vote. However, this outcome has been widely condemned by the opposition, which was notably barred from participating in the elections, with accusations of widespread fraud and a lack of democratic integrity. Election observers have corroborated these claims, citing irregularities such as ballot stuffing and the exclusion of key political rivals from the ballot. The government insists that the elections were conducted freely and fairly, a narrative sharply contrasted by the opposition's experience of being systematically excluded. In a significant escalation, prosecutors on Friday brought treason charges against 145 individuals in connection with the unrest. A statement from the police force, in collaboration with other defense and security agencies, confirmed a serious manhunt underway to apprehend all those implicated in planning, coordinating, and executing what they termed this evil act. Among the senior Chadema figures sought for arrest are Secretary General John Manyika, Deputy Party Leader Amani Golagwa, and Head of Communications Brenda Rupia. The exclusion of Chadema's leader, Tundu Lissu, who faced treason charges in April and was consequently barred from contesting the election, is seen as a primary catalyst for the subsequent protests. Human rights watchdog Amnesty International has also reported a disturbing pattern of human rights abuses by Tanzanian authorities in the lead-up to the elections, including enforced disappearances, arbitrary arrests, and extrajudicial killings. Protests, characterized by clashes with police, ignited across Tanzania on October 29. Amnesty International further detailed that authorities implemented internet shutdowns and employed excessive force to quell the post-election demonstrations. Rights groups have also highlighted a broader crackdown on individuals perceived to be associated with the protest movement, referencing the case of prominent businesswoman Jennifer Joven, who faced accusations of encouraging protesters to acquire gas masks. President Samia Suluhu Hassan herself has acknowledged that fatalities occurred, but has attributed the unrest to foreign interference, stating that it was not a surprise that those arrested were from other countries. Despite the widespread protests and ensuing controversy, President Samia was sworn into office on Monday. Her inauguration ceremony, though televised, was not open to the public and was conducted at a military parade ground in the capital. Hassan, who made history as Tanzania's first female president upon her election in 2021, initially garnered praise from activists for her efforts to ease political repression. However, recent actions have led to accusations that she has since reversed course, adopting a more authoritarian approach. The ongoing pursuit of opposition leaders and the government's firm stance on the election results signal a deepening political crisis in Tanzania, raising serious concerns for democracy and human rights within the nation. The international community is closely monitoring these developments, as the government's actions cast a shadow over the legitimacy of the electoral process and the fundamental freedoms of its citizens. The search for the 10 individuals intensifies, while the nation grapples with the aftermath of a deeply divisive election and the escalating tensions between the ruling party and its critics, leaving an uncertain future for political dissent in Tanzania. The government's narrative of a peaceful and fair election stands in stark contrast to the accounts of violence and suppression, creating a chasm of mistrust and fueling further calls for accountability. The events of the past week have undeniably reshaped the political landscape, leaving a trail of unanswered questions and a populace seeking justice and transparency. The crackdown on dissent, coupled with accusations of electoral malfeasance, paints a grim picture for the future of democratic engagement in Tanzania, with the pursuit of opposition leaders serving as a stark reminder of the authoritarian tendencies that appear to be resurfacing. The international spotlight remains fixed on Tanzania, as the nation navigates this turbulent period, where the pursuit of power clashes with the fundamental rights of its people. The outcome of this manhunt and the government's continued narrative will undoubtedly shape perceptions of Tanzania's commitment to democratic principles and the rule of law. The chilling effect of these arrests and charges on future political activity is a significant concern, potentially silencing voices of opposition and further entrenching the current administration's grip on power. The call for a thorough and independent investigation into the election's irregularities and the reported human rights abuses is growing louder, as citizens and international observers alike demand a reckoning for the violence and repression that have characterized this electoral cycle. The government's assertion of victory in the face of such widespread condemnation and evidence of irregularities raises profound questions about its legitimacy and its respect for the democratic will of the people. The future of political opposition in Tanzania hangs precariously in the balance, as the government appears determined to silence any challenge to its authority, further complicating the nation's path towards genuine democratic reform and stability.